DCR Process Intelligence is a research-based way to get insight into the large amount of data that you've collected in the many IT systems you use within your organization. We help you get the insight that can make your organization more efficient and compliant, while involving employees and releasing the tacit knowledge already in your organization, leading to higher employee motivation and satisfaction. DCR Process Intelligence transforms the huge amount of data into clear insight like typical response times and compliance rate, which enables you to understand and solve the problems. Let's look at a typical use case. Most organizations need to establish processes to handle customer requests. Often they provide a frontline support that assists with the easy problems and a technical support that handles the complex issues. The customer calls support, which is picked up by the frontline supporter. The frontline supporter evaluates the problem and decides that they can solve the problem and move on. Frontline supporter solves the problem and informs the customer. If the frontline supporter cannot solve the problem, it is handed over to the technical supporter, which analyzes the problem and then solves it and informs the customer. Obviously, this is a simplified process to give you the overall idea. Technical supporters might decide to replace equipment, which involves shipment and installation, so many other tasks exist in the flow. The good news is that most companies and organizations have IT systems with a lot of data. How do we leverage this data to get insight? The large amount of data can be transformed into an event log, which outlines what happens, at what time, on which case, and by whom. An event log is typically a flat file containing information in some format. An event log can be opened in Excel, which makes it easy to read and understand. The log contains information about the events. Secondly, it contains information about when the event happened, the timestamp. Thirdly, it contains information about the context of the event, the case the event is associated with. The event log can also contain information about which role and user that executed the event, as well as data about the case. Now, let's look at the process for frontline support. We've defined the process in the DCR Process Designer and entered the two typical scenarios as outlined above. We open DCR Process Intelligence and analyze the two typical scenarios and notice that we expect the frontline supporter to solve 80% of the cases and 20% of the cases to go to the technical supporter. We then open the log file showed in Excel previously. We click to display all the traces in the log. As this is real-life data, we choose to view how the cases are executed in a timeline view by clicking Annotation. It might be hard to see, but the 80-20% rule does not apply, as many cases flows through the technical supporter activities. We can pause and resume the playback of the events in the log to get more insight into the flow of the support requests. Another approach is to analyze the transition of the flow. We click Analyze to see the transition of the cases over time. This is often a large diagram which can be hard to view and understand. We can choose to view specific activities only. When we remove non-important activities, we get a simpler view of our process. We notice that approximately 80% of the cases are handled by the technical supporter, which is probably the main reason our department does not perform as expected. We can view the timeline again with the most important activities. The simpler diagram is easier to understand, especially when the model is large. Finally, we can analyze the log in detail. First, we see an overview of the log and know that 111 cases exist and that they are all compliant. We can view trends, which tells us how the trend in case completion times and compliance evolves over time. We can even dig into how any activity performs, and we can analyze the data in detail. We've given you a fast introduction to the DCR Process Intelligence suite that can assist you getting insight into the large amount of data already present in your organization about how people actually work. We've shown you the timeline view that shows how cases are handled over time, a transition state diagram that outlines how cases are handled based on their state, and a detailed analysis tool where you can analyze specific traces and activities and find potential patterns and bottlenecks. Thank you for listening. Learn more about DCR on the links below.